So this lecture is for beginners, and I'm going to explain what is website hosting. You guys all know what a domain is, right? So this lecture, again, this may be too basic for you, but some people need it. So, introduction.
This video is brought to you by EpiPies Academy.
Everyone knows what's a domain name, xyz.com. But what is hosting? Many people do get confused, especially if it's your first time building a website. People do get confused. And hosting is actually simple because your domain name is just your domain name, but it's not, the domain name redirects to a computer. Basically, it's a computer. It's kind of called a server, whatever, that has the files of your website and serves up all those files through the web browser. Okay? And you may ask, well, if it's usually it's paid. You have to pay for it a little bit. It's cheap. But just about all sites pay for hosting. The only sites that don't pay for hosting is if you make if your URL is something like yourdomainname.com, it's your domain name, you gotta pay for your hosting. If your domain name is something like XYZ yourbusiness.wordpress.com, see, you're hosted on WordPress. It's free for you, but it's unprofessional, right? Because you're xyz.wordpress.com. So it doesn't look as good. So my recommendation is everybody should get hosting. I buy hosting. Everybody that I know that has a real, that grew their business, ultimately they buy their hosting. And it's cheap. It's a few dollars a month, and you get a lot. Because you might ask, well, if it's a computer that serves files, why don't I just do it from my own computer? And in theory, you could. But the problem is that, you've got to install all the security software, you got to do maintenance on it, you got to update it. There's so many things. There's different software. So for a few dollars a month, you outsource it to a hosting company, and they have a dedicated team for this. They're professionals, they know what they're doing. I wouldn't know what they're doing. It's something that essentially everybody outsources these days, especially with WordPress hosting, because it's so ubiquitous. Because WordPress, it powers just about 20% of all the sites on the internet. WordPress is behind about 20% of them. So it's much easier to just, for a few dollars a month, you get the hosting company to take care of these things for you, and you get to focus on your business, which is ideal, right? Because it's hard enough to focus on your business. So that's why you need website hosting. There's a few companies that provide website hosting. I don't typically like to recommend one company over another because I'm not affiliated with them, and I don't want you to feel like I'm selling you. I do have a video which shows how to get a domain name for free. I probably might link to it after this lecture. But again, most hosting companies do approximately the same thing for approximately the same price. Any reputable one will probably do. And that's pretty much it for hosting. It's something, if this was a really beginner lecture, you probably, if you knew about it, it was worthwhile to skip this lecture. So let's just move on to the next stuff.